Hi, today we're going to go through basic chain maintenance, which is something that you should do a few times every year. It'll make sure that your chain and cable are protected from corrosive salt water, and it will also give you a good look at how your chain is lasting over time. You do want to keep close tabs on the chain and cable just to make sure that if you can see any rust on the chain, then it's long past its sell-by date. And you also want to check the cable for any burrs, broken strands, and just general health. A couple of things that you're going to need while we do this. We recommend Edson Chain Care, which is a product that's made by the chain manufacturer specifically for this purpose. It works great, it's very easy to apply, and it's pretty mess-free. So that's a good alternative for that. There are a few other things. We used to recommend using 30-weight oil, which is great, but it's messy. So you might prefer Chain Care. And then BoShield T9 is another good product that's readily available in kind of better hardware stores, wherever. You're going to need a Phillips screwdriver to take your compass off and the binnacle. We have this Super Lube, which is a Teflon-based lubricant. We're going to use that to grease the needle bearings on the steerer shaft. And lastly, we're going to have a cotton ball for checking the cable for any broken strands or burrs. This is better to do this with a cotton ball than with your hand to see where the blood is when you have a broken strand. And you're also going to need some paper towel or a rag to clean off the chain as you go through this. Okay, so let's get to taking off the compass and exposing our chain and our steerer shaft. Okay, a lot of people are intimidated by taking the compass off, which is understandable, but it's really pretty easy. You just take off and your compass will have a wire in it to power the light, and that'll stay connected. We'll take it off on this display one so that we have a cleaner look at things. And then you have 4 remaining screws down inside. Which you just unscrew. Remove that. And now you have your steerer exposed. On this display unit, we don't have everything installed here, but these are your engine control cables. So there would be clevises on that, and they would drape down in there. And your chain will be draped across the sprocket like this. Since these aren't attached, we can just take these off. Get a better view. And so what you're going to want to do is take the Chain Care and starting at one end of the chain, just spray it in. and go all the way to the other side, stop to stop, and there you go. Then you can take your rag and soak up the excess. You can go back and forth a couple of times. But don't be worried about leaving some excess on there. Too much is better than not enough. And that takes care of lubing the chain. While we're in here, we're going to get a shot of the super lube into the needle bearings, which you just shoot in there, and you shoot in there, and you can see these two holes, one here, one there, and those are the grease ports for the needle bearings, and that will make sure that your steer shaft is able to rotate freely on the bearings. And at this point, we're done with this part of things. Now we would go down below decks and have a look at the cable. Okay, so with your cotton ball, you're going to want to run it along the cable back and forth, and if you hit any snags or anything, then you know you've got a broken strand in there. This is much easier to do than doing it with your fingers and looking for the blood spots on the cable. But Edson steering cables are made of high quality 7x19 stainless wire, which is it's very good, very flexible, very strong kind of a wire, but it is made of multiple strands, and whenever one strand breaks, it broke for a reason, which can either be flexing around a turn or just corrosion and wear and tear. But when one strand breaks, obviously that transfers work to the other unbroken strands, but the situation that caused one strand to break probably weakened the others, so really it's kind of a downward spiral once one strand breaks. So if you've got a broken strand, please don't go and do the wrap electrical tape around it and call it good thing. That's a good indication that you want to replace your steering cable. If your steering cable is all in great shape, as this one is, then you're simply going to want to spray some chain care over it, as chain care is also a great protectant for your cable. Now, one of the really nice things about chain care is that it comes with these two spray knobs, one which is the directional nozzle that I use for the chain, and the other is more of a shotgun blast that you can use to spray the cable. And we're just gonna spray it, get a good coating, and do that from end to end on both sides of the cable, and your chain will be protected, your cable is protected, salt is going to have a hard time getting to it, it's going to help with the wear and tear, lubricated over the idler shivs, your system will just work much closer to the way it's designed to be. You want to do this in most situations twice a year. So that would be once at the beginning of the season, once in the middle of the season. If you're in a very warm or very saline environment like the Caribbean or South Florida, you're going to want to do it a few times a year. Those areas have a higher concentration of salt in the water, and the warmer, more humid air really lets that salt get into things. So you're going to want to have a much more rigorous maintenance schedule on that. But that's what you do. It's fairly easy. It keeps your system running the way it's supposed to, and at least as importantly, it keeps you in touch with your system. so you know what it looks like, you know what it should look like, and you'll be more aware of any problems that crop up. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to leave us a like or a comment, please do so. Otherwise, we'll look forward to making our next video.